Someone asked Buddha, why did you leave your palace, wife and son and became a renunciate and became a monk? Shouldn't you be fulfilling your obligations and responsibilities to your wife, father, your foster mother, your baby son? Buddha said, I ask you a question. If your house is on fire, what would you do instinctively? Instinctively, I'm saying. That is, take a jump, get out of the house, and then the second would be to think who is out and who is not, and what is left in the house. If house is on fire, then you would like to save yourself first. That is the reflex action. You don't even have to think. That's what you do. And Buddha said, that's what I have done. I was seeing the flames of death everywhere. Everywhere the death is lurking. And I had to take the jump. So I took the jump. And I went out. And I tried to look for that place and space where I can save my mind from this onslaught of death. See, it's a beautiful story. I love it. Every time when I narrate it, I still love it. Again, I can say it a billion times and I still love it. All those things which anyone would dream for Siddhartha, that's what his name was before becoming a Buddha. Siddhartha was given all those things, and he had hundreds of women around him, and he had the best of food and best of drinks. He had best of clothes, and the most ravishingly beautiful woman of those times, the Princess Yashodhara, was his wife. He had a beautiful son. And the day he had the son, the father was very relieved. Father of Siddhartha was very relieved because the soothsayers, the astrologers had made a prediction that this boy would either become an emperor or would become a monk. And he's the only son. And as a norm would be, the king decided to create such a situation in his palace that his son never ever sees any misery, any pain, any disease, which may provoke in his mind thoughts about death and thoughts about after death. So he made such elaborate arrangements. The whole palace was converted into a big fun place. No old or sick person was allowed to go in the palace. All the servants were young and beautiful, presentable. All the best musicians, dancers were invited to be in the palace to entertain the prince. Soon he was young and then strong and handsome. He was the best archer. And Siddhartha was a best sportsman. And he sang so well and beautifully. And he danced so well and beautifully. And he knew all the nuances of any connoisseur. Then he got married. He had a son. Father was now relieved that now my child is totally a householder and has tasted the riches and the beauties and the pleasures of the world, and now he would never ever think about being a monk. So he loosened up his rules a little bit, and one day Prince says that I have never seen my own city, allow me to go out. Father said, sure, go. With his friend Channa, they went out. And for the first time, Prince is out of his palace. And out of his palace grounds, he saw green fields and trees and people. And king had ordered, let all the streets be decorated. All sick, diseased people should remain indoors. No one should be in sight of the prince. And everyone was playing drums and dancing and singing, honoring their prince. He loved it. He came back. And after a few days, he again says to his father, I wish to go to city again. Again. King this time was little more relieved, so didn't make these orders to prepare for this grand welcome. But still the orders were there. Then it was the third time that prince just sneaked out of the palace with his servant and friend Channa. And that's the day when he saw the reality of his kingdom. First time he saw an old man with a hunched back. He was surprised. Who is he? What happened to him? Channa said, he is an old man. What is old age? Channa said, old age happens to every human being. Prince was surprised. What do you mean? Would I too become like this, all wrinkled? Hunched back, horrible to look? Channa said, yes. And even my wife, and even my father, and even my son? Channa said, old age comes to every human being, irrespective of whether you are a king or a peasant or a farmer. Doesn't make any difference. He was sad. He was worried that his beautiful body would change one day. Wouldn't be able to take one step. Then he saw a person who was really very sick, coughing, all phlegm, and aching and moaning and paining. What happened to him? Channa said, it is diseased body. He has pains in his body. Would sickness come to me? Channa said, yes. You too will be sick one day. You can be sick. The chariot kept on moving on the roads. And then Siddhartha happened to see a dead body being taken to cremation ground. Now was the ultimate shock for him. What happened to this man? Why has he been tied with ropes? Why is he being carried? Why is he being covered with the white cloth? Channa said, Prince, he has died. What is death? What is death? Channa said, that I can't explain, but I know this, that when death comes, then you don't breathe, then you don't walk or talk, you cannot eat or sleep, all communications gone, mind won't work, brain won't work. And I know this, then the body becomes cold, like ice, and it gets stiff, like a wooden log, and then it is taken to the cremation ground to be burned. Siddhartha said, I have to go to cremation. I have to see what they would do. And Prince was crying, inconsolably. He's crying, seeing all these horrible things which are reality of life. Disease, sickness, old age will come to all of you too. To some it has already come. Prince went to the cremation ground, and the sight of that body being kept inside the logs of the wood, and the huge 3 logs were kept on the chest, on the head, And Prince yelled, wouldn't he be feeling pain? What are they doing? He said he doesn't feel any pain because he's dead. Prince was weeping and he asked, would I too die? Channa said yes. Would my wife too die? Channa said yes. Would my son also, my father also die? Channa said yes, Prince, every born being would die. That's a rule. The family members of that dead person were there, sitting, crying, wailing, and then the time came, everyone left, but Prince still was there by the funeral pyre, kept on watching those flames eating up that body, and soon in few hours there was no body, they left, there was no wood left because everything had been turned into ashes. Prince picked up a handful of the ashes and he just smeared his face with that ash. Channa said, what are you doing? He said, this is going to be me one day, me turning into an ash. This is what is going to happen. I just wish to feel it, what it would be at that time. He's crying and crying and crying, and Channa couldn't console him. And finally he had to drag him out of the cremation ground and made him sit on the chariot. And he made a move towards the palace. And on the way, Prince, for the first time in his life, saw a monk, a saint, meditating under the tree. Face was so serene, calm, so silent. He made Channa stop the chariot. What is he doing? Who is he? Channa said, he is a monk. He is a sadhu who is doing his meditation. Prince said, isn't he fearful of death, sickness, old age? Channa said, no, because he has found the truth. And now he is fearless. And he knows what truth is. That is why he doesn't have any palace or wife or child, but he has his peace of mind. And he has that divine light in him. Hence he is calm, peaceful, happy, blissful. Prince came back, went to his room, but this night he couldn't sleep. He kept on replaying all those scenes in his head, what he had seen, and kept on contemplating on what he had seen. And then he made a decision. I need to have answers to all the questions. Why old age comes? Why death comes? Where do we go after death? What happens to us when we take birth? From where are we coming? What is truth? What is not truth? Why do death comes to us? Why is this world existing? What is the reason that it is existing? And that night, he left his palace. He left his wife. He left his son. He left his all wealth, the wealth for which you are clamoring all the time. He had that wealth, and yet he left. He left everything. He said, if death is going to snatch everything away from me, I better kick it away from me then. And I need to look for that which will stay with me. I ask you a question. You too have seen sick person. You too have seen old people with hunched backs and can't take one single small step. You too have seen dead bodies. But how come you don't have the vairagya, the dispassion as Prince Siddhartha got? Isn't it strange? सिद्धार्थ ने एक बार एक बूढ़े आदमी को देखा, एक बार सिर्फ बीमार आदमी को देखा, एक बार सिर्फ जलती हुई चिता देखी, और उनके मन में इतनी हलचल मच गई कि वो दिनों दिन रातों रात न सो सके, न आराम कर सके, न चैन से खा सके, न चैन से कुछ कार्य व्यवहार कर सके, और उनको सब कुछ छोड़ करके उस सच को ढूंढने के लिए राज परिवार सब कुछ छोड़ के निकलना पड़ा। है ना अजीब बात कि आप अपने सामने मौत घटते हुए देखते हो और फिर भी आप अपने जीने के कार्यक्रम और अपने सपनों में व्यस्त रहते हो। नहीं सोचते तुम। और ये बात जो अभी मैं कह भी रही हूं, ये तुम सुन तो रहे हो, लेकिन भीतर कहीं दिल में तुम्हें अच्छा नहीं लग रही। क्यों बोल रहे हैं ऐसा? ये बस वही बोले जिससे हम सुखी और स्वस्थ जिएं और बस जीते ही रहें और बस फिर कभी मरें भी नहीं। हम ये बात भी क्यों सोचते हैं? फिर क्या बात सोचने वाली नहीं है ये? तुम्हारी असल कमाई तुम्हारे बैंक में नहीं होती है, घर के सेफ में भी नहीं होती है। तुम्हारी असल कमाई है तुम्हारी साधना, अगर आपके पास वो है तो। आपकी असल कमाई है आपका नाम भजन, अगर आपने किया है तो। आपकी असल कमाई है वो ज्ञान, अगर आप सत्संग में गए और आपने उसे प्राप्त किया है तो। और अगर आपने ये तीनों काम नहीं किए हैं तो आपसे बढ़कर के गरीब कोई नहीं है। An emperor went to see fakirs, a master fakirs. Now there is no equivalent word which I can supplement for the word must. You don't have it in English. English is a very poor language. Very poor. Emperor went to the fakir and he said, "Can I do something for you?" Emperor said, "You cannot do anything from me because I don't seek favors from slaves. And you are slave of desire and greed. Desire and greed are my slave, but they are your masters. You are guided, provoked, propelled by your greed, by your desires.